I've said it before, but relying on an EV in the event of a natural disaster is a very bad idea. The first thing to go out is usually the electricity, so unless your EV is fully charged when you need it, good luck getting away from danger or finding a charging station that is actually working. And if you do find one, it will have long queues, because unlike a fuel station where each pump can get through 10 or 12 cars per hour, an EV charger can barely get through 1 or 2 in that time. And if you run out of fuel on the road, it's easy to tip in a jerry can full of fuel and be on your way. Try doing that with an EV that's out of charge. But it doesn't stop there, because these cars are causing even more problems in the aftermath and cleanup of the Los Angeles fires. There are so many of the wretched things in LA that fire and rescue teams are having to take a raft of extra precautions when dealing with burned EVs. Why? Because of the batteries, which can spontaneously catch fire days or weeks after they appear to have been extinguished, releasing a cocktail of toxic gases in the process. Aren't EVs wonderful? Welcome back to MGUY, British engineer and lawyer, now Sydney-based YouTuber. I'm just a few away from 100,000 subscribers, which is absolutely ridiculous. Thank you so much for your support of this channel. So if you're one of the majority of my viewers who are not subscribed, please just click that subscribe button down below so you don't miss out on any future videos. And if you'd like to contribute something to this channel, why not buy me a coffee? Click the link in the description or scan the QR code on screen. Let's just remind ourselves of why EVs are a terrible idea in the event of an emergency like the LA fires, just in case any of you are still not quite getting the point, as this article makes clear. Biden-Newsom's EV push added another wrinkle to Californians' wildfire evacuation plans. Power outages amid the ongoing wildfires in California have stoked fears among electric vehicle EV owners that they could be unable to power their cars in an evacuation scenario. Despite President Joe Biden and Democratic California Governor Gavin Newsom's push to increase EV adoption, many Americans have remained reluctant to purchase the vehicles, often citing range anxiety, the concern among drivers that they will run out of charge before reaching their destination or a charging station. Now, with more than 100,000 evacuations and widespread power outages due to the ongoing infernos, California EV owners have expressed fears their electric cars could threaten their ability to escape the fires, according to the Los Angeles Times. A gasoline car can evacuate in any direction on any road and still get fuel when needed, Matthew Butterick, a Los Angeles attorney who lived near Griffith Park, told the Times. The EV stations on evacuation routes would have massive lines and delays, gasoline stations less so, and the electric grid may not be available. Power companies turn off power to avoid sparking a fire and also to avoid legal liability. This is probably the future of all the hillside neighborhoods. Val Cipollone, a Berkeley resident who owns a fully electric Nissan Leaf, shared similar concerns as Butterick with the Times. Who knows how far you'd have to drive after a disaster? I used to think I'd only need to drive to my place of work, but who knows, I might have to go much farther. Well, unfortunately, this additional risk to people escaping an emergency is just another unintended consequence of the harebrained dash to electrify everything. Here in Australia, we know a bit about natural disasters, and nobody in the bush would dare trust their lives and the lives of their families to a hopeless EV when the electricity may be out for days. They'd have a diesel truck and a spare tank or two of fuel. It's only wealthy inner city Greens who don't get this simple fact. And tragic though it is when a property is destroyed by fire, at least with a petrol or diesel car, that fuel is easily consumed and burnt away and does not pose a risk for first responders or those cleaning up after the event. Not so with EVs, as their batteries can partially survive an initial fire event and then cause problems days or weeks later, with even mad EV zealot Gavin Newsom having to concede that they're making life difficult. EV batteries complicate debris removal after California fires. Debris removal following the deadly wildfires in Southern California will be made more complicated by the area's plentiful electric vehicle batteries and other lithium-ion cells, Governor Gavin Newsom said. It's a little different world now today with batteries, not just car batteries, but battery packs, people with solar, those Tesla wall batteries and the like, he said during an interview with CNN that aired on January 13th. The hazmat side of this is made a little bit more complicated, which is fine. We'll work through that. Newsom's comments highlight the long delays ahead for California, where experts will have to handle dangerous debris after first responders extinguish destructive fires. Newsom said he expects it will take 6 to 9 months to remove the debris, with local, state and federal partners working hand in glove. As of May, California claimed 34% of all new zero-emission vehicle sales in the US, according to the California Air Resources Board. The prevalence of EVs in the state poses a challenge for first responders and others removing the rubble, said Conrad Layson, a senior analyst at Auto Forecast Solutions. While fires in combustion engine vehicles are much more common, EVs have unique qualities that make their fires difficult to extinguish. Electrolyte inside the battery can get electrochemically excited all by itself, meaning that EV batteries reignite spontaneously, he said. And it's not just the risk of fire. EV batteries are a dangerous mixture of highly toxic chemicals that can release harmful gases without warning. Just what you need when you're clearing up after a fire. Beyond the inherent fire risk, people removing debris may encounter the dangers of smoke inhalation, plus the additional risks of external chemical burns from hydrofluoric acid and internal ones from inhalation of hydrogen fluoride, both of which can be released when a burning cathode is exposed to water. The US Fire Administration also warns that batteries can be ejected from a battery pack or casing. The disposal of a burned-out EV is not as straightforward as it is for current ICE vehicles, especially one that's already been involved in an ignition event, Layson said. Some vehicle recyclers separate EVs in yards and place them on piles of sand meant to prevent the leaching of chemicals or an ignition domino effect. For people who are trying to haul away these piles of rubble, you don't know the EV battery is there, and you don't know what you're getting into if it does start to burn, he said. Wow, you can see just how great these things are for the planet, can't you? But seriously, none of this matters to the EV zealots, who are so blinded by their own smugness that they don't even see the writing on the wall. From start to finish, EVs cause more damage to the environment than regular cars. They are far less safe to use in an emergency, and to add insult to injury, they also lie in wait to burn or poison some poor guy just doing his job cleaning up afterwards. But unfortunately, don't expect anything to change anytime soon, because the net zero zealots have zero common sense.